Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Friday pre-market prep. Spencer Isreal, Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick with you this morning. WeWork is back, everyone. Failed IPO, pandemic. You can't kill me. You can't kill me. I'm back like a cockroach. You can't quite get rid of me.
Cockroach.
We're going to talk about that today. That's the funniest thing that I saw this morning. A couple other things on our radar. L Brands is out. They raised their guidance. The banks are all up on an announcement from the Fed. A lot of Chinese education stocks up on an IPO from yesterday. We have what else was on our list? We had some shipping stocks on our list as well from this Suez Canal fiasco. If we have time, we'll get to that. Two guests on our docket for today. First up at 8:35 or 8:30, somewhere in that window. Markus Heitkoetter, founder of Rockwell Trading. And then Jason Razing will join, but probably not till like 9 o'clock, I think. So somewhere in that 9 o'clock window, Jason will stop by. And I want to mention today's show is also sponsored by Rockwell Trading. Trade what you see, not what you think. To learn more, go to rockwelltrading.com/Benzinga. The link is up on the screen there. Let's throw it to Joel now, who can update us on, we had a good day yesterday, so how was the overnight session?
Yeah, we even improved on that. Pre-market high, 39.2150. Nothing up there. Had a weekly number there, but we chopped through it so many times. Not as relevant. The close is important, though. 39.0050. Pre-market low, 39.0075. Three of our last five closes right there at 3,900. The battle for 3,900 rages on. Crude, that's up $1.54 with the concerns over there in the Suez Canal. Just been really volatile this week, but inside day so far going in the crude oil market. Gold, that's down $3 at 17.2210. Let me know when you guys want me to stop giving gold. Silver, that's in the green by almost a penny at 25.055. Bitcoin, that recovers from the little dip. That's up $710 at 53,115. And we are going to start the day out with just two quick tangent trivia things.
I love.
Are you ready?
No. What do we have?
Yeah.
I'm so scared right now.
First of all, when Spencer said cockroach, and that what movie did I said cockroach? What movie is that?
We're going back to the 30s.
No, I don't know.
Come on.
Your movie trivia is horrible.
Oh, you're going to be really disappointed in this one.
Movies that are completely off the board.
Come on.
We go
Look at that. Gary's on the ball.
You know, we take quotes from like every movies everybody's seen. You go with cockroaches.
All right. I've never seen Scarface, so.
You've never seen Scarface?
No. Confession.
Okay, well, if it's Scarface, then that's actually a movie I should have known.
If I failed.
You got to see it. The first scene in that movie is just riveting.
All
then after that. Okay, the second thing is why of old days today am I wearing a Syracuse t-shirt, okay, or long sleeve shirt? Why am I wearing a Syracuse shirt?
We got to get in your head somehow.
Well, one of his daughters went to Syracuse grad school.
Okay.
Is there something to do with that?
Start.
Very, very good. Very good.
Okay.
Is that the only reason?
Well, at 10:30.
Is there a special day today, though?
Yes.
What is it?
She is presenting her master's thesis.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, at 10:30. So don't bother me around 10:30. And this is she's been working on this for a couple years. And she's doing it on her evolution, and she's did it. She followed some ladies in politics during the election, and some other people. So I'm very excited for that at 10:30, and then she gets approval, and then she gets her master's from Syracuse.
Question,
so
it's remote? I would assume, right?
Yeah, it's on Zoom. I mean,
I guess that makes it easier.
Yeah, I would have loved to go out to Cuse one more time. I had some good times taking her out there and stuff. Good town way up there. But I'm excited. So let's go to WeWork.
Yeah.
Dennis, we had a great debate on the pre-market prep show, and I don't know about this. Is going to be an interesting one to follow. Spencer, give us the details.
Yeah, so BOWX, BOX acquisition is your ticker, BOWX, and they're going to bring WeWork public in a deal that values the company at $9 billion, including debt. We know that WeWork has spent a lot of the last year, or 2 years, I guess, or whenever all this stuff went down. Maybe it's three years ago. I kind of lost count at this point. Restructuring the company, getting rid of a lot of unprofitable locations, slimming down, trying to get rid of their debt, restructuring some of their lease agreements. They've done that. Apparently, they still have some debt, but they have restructured a lot of the balance sheet and their actual office space footprint. And they're going to go public. BOWX is your ticker. It's not getting much of a premium here this morning.
Really?
That's all Dennis cares about.
You want to see a pop on the announcements, and you don't see it on anything anymore. So
this was the poster child for tech IPO that went just a step too far.
Yeah,
just a step too far in their S1.
Was this the one that Spencer that they actually were going that day? They pulled it like the day of, didn't they, or something? Like they pulled it like right at the final hour.
I don't remember at the final hour.
It was close.
It was close to the final hour. It was close to the end. It was going to go wasn't it like a $47 billion valuation at one time?
Yeah, it was
really high.
Yeah, it was 47. So that's a great point, Dennis. So at the time of the IPO, the company was trying to value itself, or was going public at a valuation of $47 billion.
Wow.
So the deal today values them at $9 billion.
Holy discount.
And it was in 2019, not 2018. So
right before COVID, eh?
No.
Was this before COVID?
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah,
it was pre-COVID.
It wasn't. Yeah. I guess it was. I guess you can say right before
COVID. Had to hurt this. This is like ground zero for COVID. Rentable office space. So
there's a flip side to that. But Spencer,
what's the flip side?
People are going to need more space.
Space themselves out.
Yeah,
we're all thinking here.
Yeah,
you get bigger offices so you can, you can't be tucked in these cubicles. You got to have bigger spaces to get back in the office. If we're going back to the office, I don't know. That's the problem. Torn on it. It's not, obviously getting a huge discount. If we eventually get back to normal, you might be happy with a WeWork at a $9 billion valuation. I mean, people are going to pay people were paying in the private markets $40 billion for it just a year and a half ago. So
they weren't paying for it. I mean, that's the thing.
In the private market, they were, though.
Yeah.
In the private market, they were. I believe it traded at a $47 billion valuation in the private market. Because all these things trade in the private market.
That's where they were going public.
There's people that bought this thing at $47 bill. So, but obviously then they pulled the IPO. But
yeah.
Anyways, you look at it and you think, well, if you really believe in the reopening, we're getting back to normal. I could see it's you're getting on the cheap. But then, if you think people aren't ever going back to the office, we're going to Zoom forever, and office space the last thing you want to own, then maybe that's why it doesn't pop at all. The story went ice cold when COVID hit.
Yeah, that Adam Newman didn't make any friends with people either. Wasn't he a rascal? Didn't he get in some trouble, Spencer? I can't remember. This was a while ago.
The whole thing was kind of a massive screw up. He ended up getting the boot, right? But yeah, there was a lot of weird things. Like WeWork paid Adam Newman for the WeWork name.
Yeah,
weird stuff going on there. And his wife was also like the vice president or something. It was weird. The whole thing was weird. I just remember the market rejecting the S1. Like people laughed at their S1. People laughed at it. It was So I can never remember the market just rejecting an S1 filing like that. Like this is a joke. But people are like, this is a joke.
Can I on TradeStation? Can you create the name of your own chart, because I'm just going to put SPAC, and then every time you guys talk about a SPAC, I'm just going to pull up this chart because it all looks the same. They pop and then they go down. I mean,
they don't even pop though now. Like the pops used to be $2-3 on any deal. When I was playing all these and I had the whole portfolio, and I still have a few of them, but I've significantly reduced that because you're not getting the pops. But I was buying all these things, 10 to 10.50 pre-deal. because on the pops, like I had this SNPR. You know, look at the pop on SNPR. I still have a little piece of that. I shouldn't have held the little piece. I sold 3/4 of the position on the pop, and I was like, I'll hold a little piece, and that was a mistake. But I mean, you know, you pop from 12 to 18. I mean, these are pops. SBAC, which me and Spencer had, that was one that, you know, a trade at almost $14 in the pre-market. You won't see it on the chart here, but it was almost 14, and it didn't even get like a main target. But that was still when they were popping. Any SPAC that did a deal, they popped it back in early February. Now it's like, nah, we don't pop hardly any of them. You know, when's the last time we saw a real good pop on a SPAC deal? Has there been? Mitch might know. There's got to be one. I mean, there's still deals all the time. Has there been a good one?
A couple weeks ago, probably.
Yeah,
but there's not a
wasn't the worst. eToro actually did go up for a little bit.
What was the symbol? Which one did eToro?
It's CFC
TV.
Yeah, FTCV was the one.
FCTV. That one got a good pop. No, that's not right. What is it? FTCV?
Yes, FTCV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's already come back in. It got up to over 15, and it's come back all the way down too.
But
this was
why
a
you
big
sell the
name
rip
out there.
Hey, did you
I don't know. What do you think, Mitch? Like, is there some, you know, like think, looking through the,
you know what you got to look at?
Baby out with the bathwater here.
Chris has.
You guys watching Neo? Let's talk Neo here.
Wait.
Oh, wait. We're going on a conversation. Who cares?
So, Chris.
Neo.
Okay, we'll get to Neo.
We're going to get to it, Joel. It's been down $3 all morning.
We'll get to Neo.
Chris has mentioned look at units under 10, because units under 10, you're getting warrants, you're getting common stock, and you have a $10 floor. So if you get the warrants underneath $10, essentially you can cash it in for $10 a little bit later. So that's what I would focus on. Chris knows what he's talking about. I'd focus a little bit about what he was talking about. Look for cheap warrants. Look for things that are under that net asset value. If we do get a bottom on SPAC market and they come back roaring, that's probably where you're going to want to be. You're going to want to be in those cheap discounted names. I
like the Goldman one, and I've thought about buying it, and it's just above 10 right now. I'd like to get it at 10. I'm cheap, you know, so I've seen it come from like $16 all the way down to $10.43 here this morning, GSAH. But, you know, I've been eyeing that one if it could ever get to the $10 marker. I bought a couple of these right at 10. Catchy was pitching that SRNGU one too, or SNRGU. I'm getting there. Anyways, I'm getting it wrong.
There's so many weird symbols. What's the Goldman one?
GSAH.
Yeah, that one's not the worst.
I like that at 10 too.
I've always said that PSTH is what gets us moving again. If that would announce with a big name, that could start the whole industry over again.
It's still trading at a premium. I've sold all my PSTH, and I loved this one forever. But when they started just hammering anything trading at a premium, I was like, I'm not holding a SPAC at a premium. So, and, you know, I sold a little bit when it got overdone in early February 32, and I sold the rest of it. It went all the way down to me. You can see the big spike down to 23.13, and then it spiked back to 28. And I was like, that's my rip to sell. I'm getting the hell out of here, because they're hitting all the SPACs with premiums right now. And I don't know what kind of deal he's going to do, if it's going to be a good one or a bad one. I would assume Ackman's going to get a good deal, but even on some of the good deals like eToro, they're not popping them. So there's no reason for me to sit and hold a SPAC at a premium. Now, Mitch is arguing if you're buying them at a discount, then, you know, that's a different story. You're buying these things at a discount. They get a good deal. Maybe they get the potential of a pop. They get a bad deal. They still have the potential of a drop. But, you know, if they get no deal, you can still get your money back too. So at a discount, they're a lot more attractive than buying these things at a big premium.
Okay.
Let's go.
Now we can go to Neo.
He's really excited.
No, I of all the things I saw this morning, I did not see Neo.
Right. So Neo announced a couple hours ago the temporary suspension of production for 5 days at one of their plants due to the semi shortage. This is not unique to Neo. Ford also is closing their Dearborn plant for a couple of days due to the semi shortage, and they've previously said that they've already given numbers on how this will impact their sales for the year. A lot of automakers are sort of feeling the squeeze there, right, on this global shortage of semiconductors. So Neo, I believe GM has also came out and said they're going to have to temporary stop at a couple of plants. This is not unique to Neo or Ford or GM. This is an industry wide problem right now. This is a global problem.
I heard it's going to cut their car production in half. Instead of 20 cars, they're only going to do 10 cars this quarter.
Hey,
Neo actually sells some cars. We tried for you there, Joe. Neo actually does sell some cars. The one thing that I still never understand is how it trades at a premium evaluation. There was one time worth more than General Motors, which is just absurd. Let's look at market caps, because you can look at price. Price is meaningless. If you're really doing fundamental analysis, you never look at the price of the stock. It's just stupid. You got to look at, what is the market cap, because it's just a matter of how many shares are outstanding. What is this company worth? So the first thing when you're doing fundamental analysis, what's the market cap? Neo is still worth $57 billion. That is more than Ford, because Ford is trading at, just grabbing them for you. Ford is at $48 billion. General Motors, which I believe is going to be a huge player in EV, and like I said, I'm fully long, is only $80 billion. So you can see, Neo has come down substantially, but it is still trading with a $57 billion market cap. That's because they see it as the poor man's Tesla. So they're valuing it like Tesla, storied stock, EV play. I'm going to go out on a limb and say General Motors is going to sell a lot more EVs in the long run than Neo is. So I would much rather own a General Motors than a Neo for that reason. That being said, it's a pure play EV play. General Motors is not. They still make gas guzzlers. So you want the pure plays like Tesla? Neo's your second, one you think about. That's like a pure play that's actually producing cars right now. That's why maybe it gets that premium too. It's been hammered, but if you think it's cheap, you start looking at it that way. It's like, well, it's not really. I mean, could they take this to a $30 billion? Is it absurd to think that Neo could trade at a $30 billion market cap? That would cut the price in half. Not absurd. I don't think that's absurd. I think that's probably reasonable. But so I would still be a seller of reps. You do have a huge technical level. Maybe Joel's going to point out. I don't take the technical from you, but 31.91.
Yeah,
and that's the level it's got to hold.
Yep. And it's pausing here. It's just pausing. Little bit right here at 35. No one saw this coming over this week. No one saw this coming at all. I mean, 45. It had a bad day yesterday. I mean, whatever. We had a decent market, but 40 high on Monday was 44.56. What's this low right here? I'll call this a line in the sand right here. 34.90. That was your low. That's your secondary low after you made the 31.90 low. So someone's nibbling here. Someone's buying. At least stopped it from, when we talk about stocks and things, at least it stopped going down. So, and this is over, the last hour or so. So someone likes it here at 35. They may be short at 41, 42, 43, or 44, but it's pausing here.
So, I mean, we always say valuation doesn't matter until it does. The problem with all these growth names is valuation has started to matter in the last month. And that's why they're all getting hammered, because people are looking at these things saying, well, no momentum. I'm like a broken record here to a certain extent, but I'm trying to people keep asking about the same stocks. This is why these stocks are out of favor. This is why, they get a nice bounce, but there was other stocks bouncing a lot more than Neo yesterday. Like Neo got a little bit of love yesterday with a big market bounce. I mean, we talked that overall market. That was an incredible rally. But you see the stocks that they were buying? They're buying value names again. I mean, you look at, what was really ripping up Nucor, which Kramer pitches every night. I mean, that thing just ripped up to a new high. I am long Nucor, full disclosure. It's in my long-term portfolio. It's been in there for a decade. It hasn't been a great stock.
See, you didn't sell at 70. Remember, I told you to wait for it to come, wait to see if it takes out 65.
Well, if Kramer's gonna pump it every night, it's gonna be 100. I mean, he pumps it. He had the CEO on 2 nights ago, and he's pumping the tires. He talked about it all day during the day in his 9 a.m. segment or 9:30 a.m. segment. He's talking about it yesterday, and then he pumps it again last night. He is like Nucor, rah rah rah. It's his new stock. I mean, Kramer gets on what's hot. You always know. He's always pumping what's making new highs. He's a momentum trader. He really is. He can say he's a value guy, but Kramer's the momentum guy. He hates all the SPACs now. He hates all the EV plays now, and he loves Nucor. He's a momentum trader, is really what Jim Kramer is. It's stock charts going straight up, he's bullish. It's stock charts going straight down, he's bearish. Not hard to figure out.
On the topic of automakers, I would also mention that, and I saw someone in the Benzinga.com chat mention this, Porsche, but it's not just Porsche. Basically every European automaker has outperformed this year, right? You can go to Stellantis, STLA. A lot of them trade over the OTC, like Volkswagen and Daimler. Volkswagen's come off a little bit now, but they've all been strong this year. So and they've all announced like a massive EV initiative. Right? Volkswagen's going to be what, like half electric, and
it's all going electric,
right, in a couple of years. So
yeah, like Christopher in the chat saying that GM, has to do some stuff to get EV. I mean, they're going there. They are making huge changes. All these companies aren't just sitting back and saying, la, 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 we're going to keep producing our guzzling cars and we'll watch Tesla just take over the world.
Yeah,
that's not happening. That's not happening. There's huge changes going on. How many EV vehicles is General Motors going to have in the next 3 years that they said? Remember the conference call? I mean, we got to you do your homework before, you just throw out comments in the chat, because General Motors, let's just Google it.
They're going to have 30 different models.
30 different models
EV
to choose
models.
from.
Yeah.
They have a whole
in the next
website going on.
Yeah, in the next 4 years.
Transforming mobility. It's the front page of their website. Electrification is the first thing on their website. This is going to be a major EV player. So they're not sitting around watching the EV boat sail away. They're fully on the boat, and they're going to, I'll say it right now, I think GM or the big three are going to be like three of the major players in EV. They're car makers. They know what they're doing. They're smart people. There's my one friend from school that I went to high school with. His name was Chad. I won't give his last name. This kid was an absolute genius, mathematical genius. He's an engineer at Chrysler. So, I mean, they have smart people. This is the smartest person I've ever met in my life. Even I've met a lot of smart people. I'm not joking. This kid is just from a math perspective.
Okay.
Mathematical genius. Just, he'd get 100% on every math test, not even study. Just a mathematical genius. And you knew he was going to be an engineer, and he's rocking it out. And, he's a designer now and an engineer at Chrysler. I mean, they have smart people working there. So you can't just say, there's only smart people working at Tesla. They all have super smart people working there. And I'm sure he's just one of the team of really smart people working there. EV is going to be everywhere. That's why I hate oil. People who are coming in and buying oil stocks, now, because they're value trades. I think that's the time to sell all these oil stocks. I hate them all the way up. I hate them all the way down. I hate them all the way up again. I mean, if you're thinking EV is the future, shorting oil is a better way to play it. But again, shorting is evil, so we can't do that. So we just don't. But but what do you think, Spencer? Do you think GM is not going to produce EV? Do you think they're not going to be a major player here?
No,
I think they're going to be one of the players.
Yeah, look, I own Ford, right? For that same reason. It's not rocket science, right?
No, it's not rocket science.
Ford has said, hey, we're going to launch an electric F-150. It's the top-selling truck in the world. Okay, when they do that, I'll be long when that happens. I'm long now, right? So when
I am too.
When they do that, they really haven't. They've announced stuff, but they haven't gotten the same buzz because they haven't launched anything yet. But when they start launching stuff, then I think the buzz will be there, and I'll be ready for it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like we've always
needs cars.
Yeah, I know. Joel's against cars altogether. Joel's not with us. Joel is anti-car.
Joel is long the scooters, the scooters that are downtown, the electric scooters.
No, because you know what I'm going to do if I wanted to go somewhere. I'm just going to say, Siri, I need to go to the grocery store, and a nice Tesla is going to show up in my driveway. I'm not even going to need to wear a coat in the winter because it's going to be nice and heated. And then the Tesla's going to drive me right there. And then it's going to wait for me and bring me back. And, it's going to have a little robot get out of the car and take the groceries inside and put them in the refrigerator. I mean, that's the way the world's going. There's going to be a lot less cars on the road. I'm sticking with it. I don't know who's making them. I don't know who's doing it.
Who's doing the first NFT car? That's what I want to know. When that headline breaks, that stock's going to triple on that headline. This NFT, everybody's so hot for it. I want the virtual car. We don't need real cars because we're all going to live in the virtual world. We don't need real houses. We don't need real food. We don't need real cars. All we need is NFTs. We'll upload our brains, just like, what was that movie where Buddy there uploaded his brain, and took over the internet.
Okay, my bad movie choices. Okay,
That's
Dennis,
a bad
go ahead.
movie. But I forget it.
Does anybody know?
I don't. He's not specific enough.
I think it was Johnny Depp was in it. I'm trying to remember. I saw it years ago.
Hey,
anyways,
last
NFT cars. There's your $1 billion idea.
Last thing on the car thing before we move on. I mentioned this the other day, but Xpeng is doing that massive test, that 2,000 mile.
Yeah, how's it going
across China? So I'll give you some numbers. I don't really know how to make heads or tails of these numbers. So they're testing the autonomous driving, right? That's what their cars are. And they said the frequency of human driver intervention was as low as 0.65 times per 100 kilometers in 5
What's the symbol on that one?
It's XPEV. And so the success rate for lane changing and overtaking has been between 86 and 97.9%. I don't know if that's good or bad. I know, like obviously, like the success rate of humans lane changing is not 100% either. But I don't know if 86% is good. Maybe it is. It means
86% success rate on
that's not very good.
Wait, no. I
got 100% success rate on changing lanes. I've never hit a car changing a lane.
Listen.
Yeah, 100% I'm running there.
You've had some close calls though.
Not as many as Raz though.
Listen. It's the success rate refers to the human having to intervene, right? So, I guess the human had to intervene between 14% and 3% of the time.
We're gonna hit a car.
That's a great driver of the wheel.
That computer didn't check the blind spot again. Grandma's tooting the horn at me and shooting the bird.
I said I don't make it.
Raz is here.
What is going on the show right now? I literally am in the office, and I said to Andrew and Luke, if Spencer says listen, the word listen again, I'm gonna go crazy. He said the word listen to you guys just now 11 times. Listen. Wait, listen. All right, that's all I have to say. I'll be back at 9 because I have an 8:30 call. But please don't have him say the word listen anymore.
All right, say listen one more time, my dear.
Oh my god.
All right, do it. Markus Heitkoetter will be on in just a second.
He cut me off.
I did.
Listen, I cut him off. We don't listen.
Okay, that's enough of the car talk. I think for one.
I grew up everybody telling me to listen because I never listen enough.
They're saying
I'm like immune to that word. I don't hear that word.
They're saying it's Johnny Mnemonic. It was the movie.
Transcendence was the movie I was thinking of.
All right.
Transcendence.
All right. It's 8:20.
Scarface, Transcendence. Oh, excuse
me. Weird movie, man.
Let's just get Markus on right now. He's already here. Let's just bring him on. Markus Heitkoetter, founder of Rockwell Trading. We haven't really talked overall market yet, so I want to. Markus, good morning.
We haven't really talked about much.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We haven't talked about much at all. Good morning, Markus. Let's get your reaction to yesterday because we were pretty sell the rip-ish yesterday morning, and we got a rip. I want to know what your take is on where the overall market is right now. Like on a scale of run for the hills or buying with two hands, where are you?
The overall market right now is looking for an excuse to move, to go anywhere, right? I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were all about the yield, right? The yield was scary, and then inflation was scary, and this is why the market dipped. And then at some point, Powell came out and said, no problem, we got it all under control. Okay, so traders are no longer focusing on the yield. So now the next question is, okay, what can we focus on? No economic reports, or not very much economic reports on the horizon here. So, we haven't focused on the coronavirus in a while. So let's do this. But wait, in the US, it's looking pretty good. So let's look worldwide. And it's looking bad. So this is why the market sold off, right? And then after this, okay, that's getting old. So what are we going to focus on right now? There's an economic report. Weekly job claims are at the best level in 14 months. Let's do this. I mean, right now, without major news, it's the flavor of the day, and this is why the.
What about the Suez Canal?
The
Suez Canal.
There's a ship that's stuck. What about that?
It's like my right position. My right position is stuck like this ship in the Suez Canal. Yeah, I mean, it also needs a tide to lift it up here. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. There's a ship. 10% of the global traffic are going through the Suez Canal. I mean, right now, as of yesterday, when I checked, there were 150 ships waiting there. So that's bad, right? I mean, this is where we'll see, things like shortages. But you see, markets always need an excuse to move. And this is where, when there's no news at all, this is when traders are desperately looking, okay, what can we use today, right? And this is what we're seeing right now, the flavor of the day, because we don't have any major new impulses. So anyhow.
All right. That's a pretty good take, I think. I'm with you on that. So I want to bring your charts up on the screen here and update us on what your comings and goings of the last week.
All right. Okay. So I'll show you the trades of this week, what I did. So Apple didn't do anything. So Apple is still my big dud. I got assigned at a strike price of 133. Right now, Apple is trading at 121. Not enough premium for me to be in there to sell. So as you know, I'm selling premium. This works really well for me. And at some point, I need to find a software that magically turns my atrocious handwriting into something beautiful. I mean, as I just said, you call a car and a beautiful Tesla shows up. So I need something like this for my charts here. Anyhow, so there's not much going on. Apple is still my dud in the portfolio right now. And I need to wait until it either goes a little bit higher or it goes a little bit lower that I can sell more puts. So I did trade AMD. I did trade AMD and I sold a put at a strike price of 75. And so this is where I need to stay AMD above 75 today. So if we are going up, if we are going sideways, even if we are going down slightly, I mean, pre-market, we are at 76.47.
Is this for today, Marcus? Is this for today?
That's expiring today, yeah.
Okay.
How much premium you get for that? Just curious.
Let me look it up. Because I took some notes so that I don't have to do it all on the screen. So AMD, I sold the 75 put for 70 cents. So I sold 13 of these, so I got $910. So that's how much I got for there. Okay, so going on to the next one that I have here.
Can I just ask you about AMD here? Like, what would flip the switch and make you start selling calls in it instead of puts?
When I get assigned. I need to own the shares. This is when I'm selling calls against the shares. So my strategy is actually super simple, just 3 steps. So first, I'm selling puts, and the idea here is by selling puts in getting stocks at a discount. So I considered $75 in AMD at a discount. I wouldn't mind owning AMD at 75 here. So I'm collecting premium there. So then I may or may not get assigned. If I'm getting assigned and now I own assigned, and if I now own the stock, then I'm selling calls. So I'm not selling them before I'm getting assigned. I want to own the stock. And this is what happened here to Apple. I mean, I was really bullish on Apple, and Apple is disappointing me so much right now. I mean, if you just zoom out a little bit, overall, Apple looked super solid. I agree. This was a more aggressive price. We talked about it. I was stuck in Florida during this ice storm in Texas. I was bored and I took a trade that I shouldn't have been taking. I mean, this year is definitely a way better support level would have been right around here. And this support level holds at around 120. I was aggressive. I sold the 133. And this is why right now in this one, I am a little bit stuck. So I need to sell calls. And there's no premium in the 133 calls right now, at least not for the next 1 to 2 weeks. And I only like to go out for 1 to 2 weeks because this way I have more control over what the markets are doing here.
Why don't you do like a 125 or something? Why don't you come down?
Oh, right now, well, what I did is I already sold the 113. So right now, I just want to see when I'm zooming in on a chart that I want to find some short-term support here on Apple. And short-term support, you see, I'm more interested in the 114 level. So when we were trading down here, I actually sold a 113 put and collected more premium. Okay. So yeah, I did this. Right now, I don't know if the 120 support level will hold. So I'm more interested in the 114, in the 115, somewhere around there.
So you sold more puts at 113?
I did, yes. And I mean, they already expired worthless. This is what I did last week. I think we talked about it last week. Anyhow, yeah, so this expired worthless. So this worked well. GDXJ, I'm having lots of fun with GDXJ. GDXJ, I have been assigned a while back in right here at 48. I think I've been assigned here. And this has been great. I have been able to sell calls against it like crazy. In fact, when we move over to the account, let me just bring this up. So GDXJ, over the past few weeks, look at this. I got $19,000 in premium. That's almost obscene because this was just a great. There's a lot of premium in there. GDXJ are the gold miners. So it's an ETF of the gold miners. And there's still tons of premium in there. So at this point, just to show you what I did there. So I sold a call because I got assigned here. So I sold a call on this one, made $15.75. Already bought it back because it was only worth 2 cents. So I closed this position. Now, if GDXJ goes above 48.50, then I keep the 15.75 here and I make some money on the stock. Well, this is probably not going to happen if I'm looking here at the chart today. So pre-market, we are at 45. So probably this call will expire worthless. And so this means I'll sell more calls next week. I might actually sell a call this morning because I don't have any call. I already closed this one. So let's see if GDXJ this morning gets a little pop that I can get some premium here. So rule of thumb, I mean, for me, I like to sell calls on up days and I like to sell puts on down days, just because the premium on down days is higher in puts and on up days it's more in calls. Anyhow, that's GDXJ. I did a super quick trade on Nike. Nike yesterday, you know that they got just hammered yesterday. Yeah. So this was I don't know what caused it. Do you know? I actually don't know. I don't even
China news.
The China news. Okay.
Yeah, they were burning sneakers in the streets.
All right.
I know. Adidas and Nike. You know.
Whoa! That's what happened to Nike yesterday.
Yeah. I was long it. I got hammered on it.
Yeah.
I took the loss though.
Yeah. Huge down day yesterday. So we closed here. When was it? On Wednesday, and then we opened here yesterday. So from 134 to 127. But this is when I saw a lot of premium in the strike of 120. And this is only a 1 day trade. And for a 1 day trade, let me just jump over here. How much did I collect there? I think it's just a couple of $100. Yeah. $168. And I was a little bit more careful. I mean, as you can see, I went all the way down to the 120. I could have gotten more premium if I would have said, let's just do it here at the 126. But I thought, you know what? Let's play it safe. There's still, what was it? $168 for 1 day. I'll just grab this because that for me was kind of a no-brainer. And this morning pre-market, we're already trading at 131, so that will be good. So Nike is doing okay. What else? Lumber Liquidator. Traded Lumber Liquidator, strike price of 22. So for the strike price of 22, and this is also expiring today, so this will do good. So for the strike price of 22, a couple of days ago, I think I did it earlier this week, I got 20 cents. Sold 45 of those, so around $900 on this one. And now we have to talk about Ride. Ride is just my ship in the Suez Canal stuck here and not doing anything. So let's bring it up. I mean,
I love your analogies, man. You're the king of analogies.
I don't know about this. I barely awake. I haven't even had my first coffee here in Austin, Texas at 7:40. That's not my time. Anyhow, so let's talk about this because this is the trade that has gone bad. I sold the put of 2150, so I got assigned 4,700 shares at 2150. And obviously, this year is not doing well. It went down. So what I did earlier this week is that, I started last week. I started flying a rescue mission. And this is where I now, as you said, I'm selling more puts to bring down my cost basis. Because, I mean, will Ride ever go up to 2150? I don't know. At this point, if they don't produce a prototype by the end of the month, as they promised, I mean, it'll look grim. If they do it, they might get a pop. I mean, we had this, I was actually on the show when you broke the news about the Hindenburg report. I think you were one of the first to just mention the Hindenburg report. And this is where right here, it just got hammered. And ever since, it has been going down. Now, what's really interesting for me, let's just quickly bring up here the volume, because I'm watching the volume. This is always important to me to see what's happening there. Oops, here we go. So let me just zoom in a little bit on what happened here and take a look at the volume. So obviously, the volume was really high on the day the Hindenburg report came out and on the day after the earnings report. This is when volume was really high. ever since, volume has been pretty much in line with what it always is when it has been trading. So this tells me one thing: there's no buyers stepping in right now. I'm a little bit surprised because Hindenburg, I mean, they are short, right? At some point, they need to cover their short. The question is, how much further do they want to drive it down? It made a new 52-week low yesterday, right? So, I mean, this is where I say, okay, you're already at $12. Yesterday, it was as low at what, $11 something. Do you really want to drive it to $5? Just take your money and give me the pop that I'm looking for. Because by selling more puts, I've been able to lower my break even to 17.90. And I only send a few troops after this dead soldier here that is behind enemy lines. So with a strike price of 30, I only traded a third of my position so that I still have some dry powder. So I think I talked about it last week. It's like Saving Private Ryan, right? So Saving Private Ryan, they send a whole SWAT team after him, like 8 or 10 people. So
Tom Hanks, right?
Now,
Tom Hanks.
With Tom, yeah, I haven't sent Tom Hanks just yet. I I just sent 2 people to check if we can get him out, and if I need to, I will actually send Tom Hanks and get him out of there. So this hasn't happened yet, but I might do that next week. Well, let's see if I can get some premium today. Anyhow, so on Ride this week, I just go back here that's also the last trade here. I sold the 13 put for $805. So here I'm getting paid for being wrong. And I like this. Now, just because I know that we only have a few minutes left, my goal with this account is to make $15,000 per month. So $15,000 per month would be $180,000 per year, or I like to break it down into per week, right? So it's around what, $4,000 per week that I need to bring in premium in order to achieve my goal of making $15,000 per month. And so for this week, this is all that happened. These are the premium that I have received. So let's bring up this little handy dandy calculator because I can't do math. I'm not a genius like your buddy who is great at math. Where does you work at GM right now? I'm not that smart. So I need this super simple calculator to add a few numbers together. So 900 plus 168. This was basically a freebie trade. Plus 805. Okay, so thus far this week, even though I have these 2 stupid trades in there, oops.
Still bringing in some premium.
Bringing some premium. And this is it for me. See, it's more about... for me, SRC profits, systematic, repeatable, and consistent, because I'm wiring out money out of my trading account into my personal checking account. Since I'm trading for a living, right? I need to make sure that I'm not just winging it and do GameStop. You haven't talked about GameStop this morning yet. This had a wild ride. But anyhow, I'll let you get on with that. I'm not trading GameStop. I'm not touching GameStop or AMC. I mean,
no writing puts on GameStop. You big premium there, Markus.
I know, right? I know. I should probably do that. Let's just take a look at this, where it is this morning. I mean, it had a wild ride, that's for sure. So let's bring up GameStop here for a moment. Okay, so
I'm going to talk you into it here.
But
your one own GameStop at 130. I bet you get some big bucks for those 130 putts.
Oh my gosh, I believe that right now you get a lot of money even for the 80.
You probably do.
I believe that the 80 put expiring next week, I believe that there's a lot of premium in there.
What is it? Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, sure. I can bring it up. Let's just see.
You might talk me into writing GameStop putts.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, boy.
GME.
As soon as I rate the GameStop putts, the thing will implode.
After a 120-point rally.
That'll be on one day.
So let's see. There's obviously
like,
no
wow,
premium in there. Let's go all the way down for holy cannoli. Look at this. There's $1.35 in next week's 80. $1.35. You get
Come on, Dennis.
$135.
Do 10. Do 10.
Be free money, right?
I mean,
you should have done that 2 days ago.
Markus is like looking at this and saying, you know what? I could write like 5 of those and make myself a cool.
You can do 10.
800 bucks. 10? Yeah, 10's not bad. I like that math. Grab 1,300 bucks. Let's do it.
Okay, let me stick to my guns here. No. I mean,
no. We likes fundamental value.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I like to trade stocks that I want to own. If you look back into the portfolio here, let me just quickly bring it up. So if you look at the stocks that I traded, you see it here. I mean, it's Apple, AMD, Dropbox, Dick's Sporting Good. EWZ was the Brazilian. It's a Brazilian ETF. Yeah. It was just a great 2-day trade. In 2 days, I could grab $400. I said, let's do this. GDXJ, the gold miners like it. Halliburton, Hasbro, IBM. That was a mistake. This one only made $37. Wanted to trade something else and somehow traded IBM. Don't know. Nordstrom, LL Lumber Liquidator. Traded Mara. I mean, I had some fun with Mara. I think I did 1 or 2 trades on this. Monster, Neo. I traded Neo. Right now, I'm not touching Neo. I mean, I'm already... right. I mean, I'm having fun with that. Yeah. Don't need Neo in the account. But I did trade it at Nike. There's Riot. Traded Riot for a quick 1-day trade. Snap, Twitter, United Airlines, Uber, Weight Watchers. So as you can see, I'm more, they're both a mixture of value and growth stocks, but I wouldn't mind owning any of these stocks. I would mind owning GME. I mean, there's like, no, not for me. And again, every trader is different. It's just not for me.
Markus Heitkoetter is the founder of Rockwell Trading. To learn more, go to rockwelltrading.com/Benzinga. Markus, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Markus.
Thanks, Markus.
I'm curious, Dennis, if you – so Markus just outlined for us that, he has his annual goal broken down by monthly and weekly. Do you do that as well, or do you just say whatever I get is whatever I end up with? I don't have a P&L goal.
Kind of both. I kind of have an idea what I want to make a day. It's more I'm a day trader. On my day trading account, I have a goal where I kind of try to go for that. But I kind of just take what the market gives me too. I know when the volatility is up, I'm going to make more money. Yeah. I know when the volatility is down, I'm going to be making less. So, I'm employing the same strategy. So it's a little bit of, get what I get. But again, everybody wants to make us, I don't want to be losing money every day and not paying the bills. I mean, this is my only job. I have no other job. I'm a day trader. That is my 100% source of my income. For 21 years, that has been the only way that I've made money. That is how I've built my entire net worth. Is 100% bright trading, 100% day trading. I tried doing other things, and I have, obviously, I guess I shouldn't say 100% because I do some investing and stuff. But remember, I bought a Quiznos sub shop. I've done some crazy stuff. I got a whole, thing of solar panels. I've got, I'm into some other stuff too. I'm into real estate. I've got a couple waterfront properties. I've done some different, investing, but basically my only source of real income, my paycheck is made from day trading.
I got it. All right. It is 8:48. We'll have Jason Razzing on in about 12 minutes. Let's do some tickers from chat. And actually, there's a couple more on our list, but let's just talk CCIV real quick because somebody asked about that.
Yeah.
Earlier on the show, they said it's the largest position. No, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it. The first thing that I see is 6 out of 7 lower highs. So that's you want to break that string, right? 32.97, and then the only time you had a higher high was this little 18-cent bump here. So that you want to break that trend, and you've actually had lower lows during that streak too. So except for that 1 day, so that's not good. I'd say for the short term, I see it traded down 42 cents. What's not the reason? I couldn't get excited on the upside right now until this takes out 24.5, or call it 24.30. 24, 44, 46, and 24, 24. So right there is a pair of highs to lean on. 20 is the major support, but I don't know. Need to at least get above 24.5.
All these SPACs just feel like they're on their march back to 10. I don't know why, but there's so many that seem to eventually, a lot, and obviously this is a long ways away from 10, but there's just been so many that have just come way down, and eventually, they seem to find a home at 10, like Helion, which was one of the first, HYLN,
wow. Yeah,
almost all the way back down to 10. That's why, I guess, with Markus, I think 10's a huge floor for Ride. So I actually might be a buyer of Marcus's Ride at 10. It just feels like it's come so far, and it got there almost yesterday at 10.89. I mean, it just feels like 10's a magnet for some of these stocks that have really come down. I mean, a month and a half ago, Ride was 30. And again, you don't get your money back anymore is the problem. When they're pre-deal, the 10's a magnet because that's where you can, cash out. But when they're post deal, there's no floor anymore. We saw that was Clover, CLOV. It's well.
How's that doing?
Well, it's
How's that
below
doing?
the 10 now. I mean, it got talked up by Buddy there, a bazillion times when it hasn't helped.
Shaman Habatia?
Is that how you say his name? I can't say his name, so I say
Poly,
Buddy.
it's Polyhopatia.
I can't say
I
his
was
name.
close.
I just call him
If
Buddy.
you say it fast, no one can tell.
Bye.
I do want to make something noted here. Today is the first non-Monday where there's 0 SPAC IPOs that come out. 0.
Wow. There's going to be less of these coming because people are seeing it's like, oh, I'm not getting rich, when I just grab any deal. So, I mean, this is, I hate to say it, Mitch, too, but SPACs aren't a new thing from 2019 and 2020.
They're not.
SPACs have existed for years. And if we go back to the way SPACs were before, and I don't think we're going to do that, but if we did, then all these things are just like $10 forever, and they struggle to find deals. If you start seeing good companies come out like eToro, and they're not getting the pops, and they start saying, I can do way better with an IPO, because that's really what a SPAC is an alternative to an IPO. If these companies are out there, the good ones, and they say, no, I'm not doing a SPAC because they're not giving any love, they're going to start going right back to the IPO train. And then if all the good companies want to do IPOs, there's not going to be much left for the SPACs. And that's where we were before 2019 in SPAC world. Nobody did SPAC deals because nobody cared about SPACs. SPACs got hot. Everybody wants to do a SPAC deal now.
I wonder if it's less to do with the SPAC vehicle and more to do with the demand in the marketplace. So you see this sort of thing with IPOs too. It's not unique to SPACs. And we kind of saw it with the WeWork IPO, right? Like the market has a demand. Has only so much demand for new issues, for new companies, right? New deals. And we see when the IPO market gets too hot, it contracts a little bit, and there are fewer IPOs. The SPAC market got so hot, and there was only so much demand out there. Forget the valuations, forget all that. I'm talking about quantity of deals. There's so many SPACs. The market can only take so many. There was only so much demand for new stuff all the time.
Did you remember You remember when Craig Johnson was on?
Yeah.
And he put up that chart, and he went going back, and he turned out to be exactly right. We're gonna have to dig him up because he made some good calls.
What did he say? I don't remember.
He just said they've been around for a long time, and this is the performance of them.
Yep.
And
they didn't do anything for years. I've been a day trader for 20 years. I'd have, some, SPAC show up in my scanner for some reason, and I would always be like, oh, no, you can't trade those. That's a SPAC. Those things don't move. That was always the way it was. Like, I mean, for decades. So, do you remember, Joe? These were like, when did SPAC? This would have been around for decades, these SPACs.
15.
Forever, for a long time.
Yeah, but.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And I can just remember saying, oh, as soon as I see a SPAC or acquisition, as soon as I see that word acquisition, I was like, oh, you don't trade those because they don't move. And they're really wide spreads. So you can't get out of them either, though. It's like Roach Motel. You can't get in, you can't get out. So you just don't trade those.
You can get in, but you can't get out.
You can't get in. Yeah, they'll let you in, but they don't let you out. Is what we used to.
Prior to last year, I'd never even heard of a SPAC. I'd only known them as blank check companies. Oh, it's a blank check. Don't even look at it. It's a blank check.
There's nothing there.
It's a blank check. It's a blank check.
There's no business. There's some cash sitting waiting for a deal that never comes.
It's like blank checks rebranded to SPACs. And then anyway, okay. Let's do L Brands here because they had some news this morning. They raised their guidance. Their Q1, I know, Joel. Q1 earnings per share guidance previously was at a range of 55 to 65 cents. Now the Q1 EPS guidance is at a range of 85 cents to $1. So raising their Q1 earnings per share guidance.
I guess we should have realized this was a stay-at-home play, maybe from April all the way up, because selling lingerie. I mean, people are staying home more. It kind of works, right?
I get
Joel doesn't get that, but
well, Joel's in this one.
I know. Lisa gets it.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is a weird looking chart. I mean, 62.
Someone's all over this one.
This one's selling the fort at 62. So I don't know. That shorter term. Let's see. I mean, what I've noticed at this end, because I don't look at this during the day, is that the gaps, either you find out right away, like, okay, this is gapping and going, or it's a fade. It's not something that you have to stick around and wait for. What was yesterday's high? Yesterday, 59.88. Oh man, I don't know.
Are you're
62?
Did you put the business proposal together to sell the stock?
Yeah, when you went in my
It was
account at
rejected.
28.
28.
It was 28.
Like,
You were going into my account. You were trying to hack
I wanted to sell it for you. Man, that would have been a bad call.
But McAfee tried to say there's a hack coming from Triple D on my
Triple D
computer.
is trying to hack you to sell your L brands.
Yeah.
He's probably borrowing your shares to sell it short and losing his butt. You want to see the ugliest chart that I've seen in a long time?
Yes. Yeah. Besides Ride?
Yeah, go to the 90-day chart on TME, Tencent Music. You want to see an ugly chart.
They just had earnings.
Holy. TME, look at this one, Joel. Look at that 2-day move. This is a prime example of from bliss to piss in 48 hours. Holy. What an implosion.
What happened?
$32. It's a 2-for-1 stock split in 2 days, but he didn't get any extra shares. What is the story? I haven't been following. I've been watching it go down, like it's continuously going down in my filter. I've never taken the time to actually read the story. What is happening that TME suddenly looks like it's going out of business? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, they just had earnings like on Monday of this week, and the numbers
apparently they were pretty.
I mean, they were like in line, but I think this is more about.
Gotta be something else
it's more about geopolitical stuff. I think there's tensions are escalating between the U.S. and China right now. That you're seeing a lot of stuff as far as it pertains to retail, right? And like Nike and H&M, which doesn't trade in the U.S. or trades on the OTC markets. But there's some escalating tensions here. That's why so many companies like Baba and Baidu and JD are doing IPOs in Hong Kong, right? Because they're trying to diversify themselves away from New York Stock Exchange. So I think this is just caught up in that. It's sort of my.
I don't even know what to tell you on this one.
Hammered.
I mean, it's down again at 1750, 1758. We got a daily low here at 17. Couple lows under 18. So I don't know. If I was short this thing, I'd keep an eye on that pre-market low. But if it keeps going like this, they're going to have to change their name to 5 cent instead of 10 cent.
That's funny. And I didn't even mention, we had this a couple days ago. I mentioned this on the show. The SEC approved that new regulation where
1 cent.
If you're not on top of your audits every year, you're
sub-penny cent.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you're dead on there, Spencer. One thing to note there, it's the one that's really going to get hit hard is the Tencent Holdings, the parent company. And that's what I heard.
As hard as this?
Potential
What's
antitrust.
It's like TCC. What the heck? It's like 5 letters over here. Do we know the Tencent?
Supposedly that one is the one that could have potential antitrust action.
Well,
and because of that, of course,
TCEHY, Joel.
Yeah. TCEHY. They're very, very diversified. They've got their hands in every cookie jar in every tech company in China or Asia.
It's one of the biggest companies in the world.
It's freaking huge. It is actually one of the biggest.
Scary looking month chart for sure.
Let's look at it.
This company is massive. I own.
Hasn't really been hit hard though, yeah.
I own an ETF, and they're the largest holding in the ETF in the ES.
Yeah, and you own the emerging markets one. You own Tencent.
Yeah.
You own China fund. You own Tencent.
Everybody owns this company. I feel like,
but not TME. TME is a small, like one of their smaller companies. That's their parent company is Tencent, obviously. So this is
yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow, that's been hammered. I don't even know what to say about that. That stock is just going up relentlessly for months and months and months and gives it all back in 2 days. That is absolutely incredible.
I want to give a public service announcement. First, if you missed our interview yesterday with the CEO of Hall of Fame Entertainment and Resorts, Mike Crawford, that is up. We have an article about it. Also, it's up on our YouTube page. Today is a big day for the Power Hour. We got a couple big interviews this afternoon. At 1 o'clock, we've got the CFO of a Smile Direct Club. So that's the SDC. That's Kyle Wales will be on the show at 1 o'clock right here on this very stream. And then at 1:30, the CEO of WiseKey. Yeah, you'll want to see that one. WKEY. You know that ticker. NFT Magnet. Wow. So we got Smile Direct Club at 1, WiseKey at 1:30. Today on the Power Hour with Jason and Luke, so a big show for those guys. And if you missed Chris Cacci's interview with Mike Crawford from Hall of Fame. I highly recommend check it out. It's up on the YouTube page. That being said, Jason Raznick should be on in a moment. And I know there was a lot more questions. We didn't get to them. I apologize. But if you stay tuned in to get technical at 9:15, Neil has way more time for chat questions. We get too distracted, I think. So be patient. Ask your questions of Neil. He will look at the chart if you ask a question during our show. We didn't get to it. I apologize. Before Jason comes on, smash that like button. I do a very poor job, I think, of I put it up on the screen a lot, but I don't say it enough. So, and I know the chat says it a lot. I appreciate it, guys. Show us some love by hitting the chat button. That helps us out in the eyes of the mysterious YouTube algo. I don't know how, but no one quite knows how that YouTube algorithm works. Likes help us. So please, please, please hit that like button. I heard a weird stat this morning. Check this out, guys. Apparently, and this stat is a couple years old now, there's 24 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every minute. You believe that?
YouTube's just huge. Actually, it seems light almost to me.
That seems light to you?
Yeah, almost. Just because there's so much stuff on YouTube. I mean, you can just get lost in YouTube for forever. Lost in cyberspace.
You're not kidding. All right, we didn't really get to the bank
world.
We didn't get to the banks today. They're trading up.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the banks.
We didn't talk about the banks.
I got short them all at 4:30.
How'd that work?
Filled. I'm like, oh, cancel
Must
all
be
orders.
bank news.
Yeah.
Picked off.
We also didn't talk about Chinese education stocks, which are all trading higher because EEIQ had its IPO. Speaking of China, if you go into the Benzinga Pro and search EEIQ, you'll find a headline that lists like 15 stocks related to EEIQ that are all trading up this morning. WAFU is the big one. It's up 91% this morning. But you got a lot of sympathy plays. So EEIQ.
How do we do that again in the Pro?
You go into the news feed. I'll actually
show me.
Yeah, I will show you how to do it. And bada bing, bada boom. Here's my news feed in Benzinga Pro.
Yeah.
I'll zoom in. Okay, all I do is search EEIQ is your bogey.
Yeah.
And come on now, there we go. This headline at 6:35 a.m. It's got all your tickers, all your related tickers.
There you go.
WAFU, FBDU, REDU. You don't even got it. It's all right there. So
what's the news on EEIQ? I don't follow the story at all.
They had an IPO.
Oh, this is just an IPO. This is just like but that was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes.
Why is it up so much today?
The point is that these are trading up today. That's the point, right? You go into your movers tool, you see what's number one.
No, I know, but why is it up today? Is what I'm asking. Like, I don't understand. It looks like it traded yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know why they're all up. I just know that they're up, and so you can get a complete list right here. Like my movers tool, WAFU is number one, right, on the up mover. So sympathy plays galore is my point. That's my point. So that's in the Benzinga Pro. All right, let me try to get Raz on here, and I know you guys wanted to. I don't know if you want to stay for Raz or not, but
I want to say hi, but I do have to go trade because
let me yell here. I'm going to yell for him. 1 second. I'm going to go on mute and yell.
If he's there, he's there. Raz, the meatloaf. We need it now.
I don't know where he is. Actually, he's not at his desk.
All right, Raz ran away on us. Say hi to Raz for me.
Yeah, me too.
I do have to go.
Oh man! All right. Well,
I'm disappointed.
You're gonna have to go solo, Spencer. I gotta hop too.
Well, Joel's leaving. Right. He's fine. Yep. Hang on. I'll keep the show going if Spencer's leaving. I can keep it going. I'll just talk to myself.
No, I'm here too. All right.
He just left. He's gone.
No, I know. Raz is in the office, but I hear his voice, but I don't even know where he is. He's not at his desk, and he's not.
I never know what he's doing back there. What's he doing?
I know what he's doing back there. And here's what's going to happen, right? Is I'm going to hop, and then the second I hop, he's going to join. And he's going to get all mad at me. So I have to stay because I know he's gonna be on in a second.
So we could bring up some of the tickers that he's been mentioning lately. MGNI. I heard a lot of people in the chat want to ask him about GAN.
Yeah, he did say he mentioned in the chat that he sold GAN. He said
it's all the way back down.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's a buying opportunity, like 15 to 16 on GAN. I was looking at this. Some of these
you guys
Momo
remember
plays,
I had it at 15 and sold it in the
I like it at 15 too, but that's still $5 away. I don't think you're going to get there.
No,
I
you
like
won't get
Fisker
there.
at 15 too. I sold a lot of my Fisker. I kept a little bit. I wish I would have sold it all. There's a lot. You know what? In some of these growth names have been hammered so much. You get these long-term support levels. Those are opportunities. Like Fisker 15. Like write these numbers down. This is where I'm writing it down. I think Fisker at 15. If it gets there, I'm loading back up. If GAN gets back to 15, I'm going to load it back up. I mean, these are longer term supports. Again, if you're just trying to catch the falling knife, these are serious levels. You can look at little levels. These are serious levels where I do think it bounce. I don't have any other ones written down here right now. But I mean, some stocks have just been absolutely hammered. And at a certain point, I think they're due for a bounce. And I still like the Fisker story.
Yeah, I like the weekly chart. If you draw kind of a downtrend where it broke out of, it's bouncing off of that line for GAN. I'd look for 21 or 2050. Doesn't seem that bad. You could risk off of like kind of that 1850 level, which is the support from back in July.
Maybe you go the Markus strategy there. Instead of throwing your 15 limit, maybe you just rate your 15 put.
Hey, there you go.
I mean, you want to bring in, I bet you get some premium for a Fisker 15 put right now. Maybe that's the way you go about it. The only downside of that is you kind of limit your upside to a certain extent. Like I always say, you sell the put, you're getting the premium. But the stock rips higher, you're not participating in that any more than the premium.
This is one of my story stocks that I actually got shaked out of triple. I got shook out in the 15s. It kept bouncing, washed me out. Yep. And then it went up to 30.
Yeah, I know. It got overdone at 30. And then I sold it. I didn't sell any of it all the way up over 30. I obviously overstayed my welcome. And then you had like one candle in there where it had the really ugly. It kind of had that, where it closed weak. It was strong and then it closed weak. So then I was nervous. I sold it the next day. I got out of half, and then I sold into that bounce. When it went all the way down 19, I still had half my position. And then it went back up to that 25, and I actually got out I was thinking 25. I got out around 24 a little bit early on the other half. So I still have a small piece, like 10% of the position left. But that's like Rasnick, I sell 90% or 10%. But I think it gets back down to 15. I think I might reload the whole thing.
What do you think about Vizio? I honestly almost bought it yesterday, but with the market being in such concern, that's what kept me out. But that's what hurt me when I didn't buy CRSR, Corsair Gaming, when it IPO'd and went down.
Yeah.
Dennis, I don't know if you saw Vizio, but it was an IPO. It opened under the IPO price. Did you see that?
Yeah, you're starting to see this happen here.
That's not. I mean, that's
never good news.
That's good and bad. It means that you're not getting the worst deal if you buy it after the IPO, right? But it also means like, the market is not super enthusiastic.
I never like touching the IPOs for the first week or two. I always let's get some levels here. I mean, all we have is yesterday's range, so we don't have much information. So it makes them harder to trade. I usually let the dust settle for the first week, and then I start getting some information. Like Fari Hamza, great quant trader, we have on the show every once in a while. He didn't touch the stock for 9 months of data. I think 6 months at a minimum, but usually like 9 months. He wants a lot of data. I like a week. I like to have at least a week, and then I'll start day trading it. But at this point in time, one day, it's not enough. Too wild. I don't like.
Hey, this is interesting. All right, I'm just seeing this. Speaking of 10-cent music, Goldman is offering a 50 million share block of 10-cent music, a 10 million share block of Baidu, and a 30 million share block of VIPS, VIP shops. So
holy mackerel,
50 million share block of 10-cent music.
Look at these stocks. Look what's happened to Baidu too. You're right. Like you were saying, China's been hammered. Holy mackerel. Baidu, everybody had to own it, and since February, we've almost been cut in half here too now. 350 down to $190. I mean, Baidu's line in the sand was 100. That's where it was forever, between 100 and 120 before it broke out. I don't think we're going all the way back down there, but some of these stocks, I mean, I talk bearish, and sometimes I talk bullish, and I've been bearish a lot lately. But I mean, some of these growth names just are getting no lift. They're getting no reprieve. Even in yesterday's rally, they're not getting much. They're so hated right now. Like Teladoc keeps going straight down too. And Kathy bought more again yesterday. She can't help herself. She buys more again yesterday. But I mean, the Teladoc bounce. You think about the market overall bounce. SPY almost made a new high. I mean, we're not even that far off of the highs. And it's just been hammered. At a certain point, these stocks are way oversold. So if you're coming in here and selling these stocks short now or getting all bearish on the growth names, I think that ship sailed 3 weeks ago. I mean, there is some growth names that actually are starting to come into levels that maybe you start nibbling. Because if this market goes to turn, you'll be happy that you bought a few of those. You mentioned Corsair. I've been long Corsair. It's one of the only growth ones I held on to because the valuation was reasonable and they had the growth. I still love Corsair. I'm in from 40. So I'm hammered on this. And obviously I didn't, this was back in February before it actually went up to 46. I was doing pretty good on this. But I was holding on to it. Now it's down to 30, but it was a nice candle yesterday. I think if you get a pullback in something like a Corsair to retest like that 30 level, 30, 31. I mean, what's the even the PE on this is reasonable. Yeah, like Corsair going forward, the forward PE, do you have it, Spencer? It's reasonable.
Let's see, 20 and a half.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, I kind of like the Corsair. So that's going forward on forward earnings there. So, and I know you like this one too, didn't you, Mitch?
Yeah, they just have so much things that are in different fields that are going up in gaming, whether it be computer accessories, whether it be the live streaming accessories, whether it be kind of they even have things that you can look at memory. They even have things for your computer. I think they're touching all the right areas.
I think so too.
In the growth.
I think Corsair is eventually back at new highs. I think eventually it's there. I'm in it. So like you can trade my heat basically. I'm in from over 40. And, it's 32 here. But if you were to get down there to 30 again, I mean, again, this is just, it's a growth name. It's out of favor, but it's growth at a reasonable price. You know how I like my GARP. I don't grow growth at any cost. I don't go GAC, because you're yakking out the GAC right now. I go GARP, growth at a reasonable price. And, when I did my homework on Corsair, you had mentioned it originally. I did the homework on it. I was like, it's reasonable. Even at 40. The price was reasonable. Now we've turned and we hate everything growth and we want PEs of like 5, or 10, or just complete defensive stocks. But I think Corsair is kind of like baby with the bathwater getting thrown out here. So I like that one too. So just trying to give you a few names that have the potential for growth that are still trading at a reasonable price. Like I said, I like Fisker at 15. Corsair, I think if you get that back at 30, 31, I think you're happy a year from now. So there is some opportunities here in some growth names. I think the time for selling growth is past us. If you're in the Zooms and stuff, those are different stories because those evaluations are still ridiculous. But do your homework. If you've got, growth at a reasonable price, and there's a lot of stocks that have fallen into that category now because the prices have come down, I think you'd be happy. You might nibble on some here.
I got one that I'm interested in, wondering your opinion. I've been watching Zynga for a while.
Yeah, someone in chat mentioned this about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's sleepy stock.
Yeah,
I'm in it. It's actually come all the way back down to where I bought it. I bought it like 966, and it went all the way up to 1250 on the Glue Mobile. It's all the way back down to where I bought it. I haven't sold one share. I still think Zynga. I still think gaming's not going away. I still think Zynga. It's a bigger market cap company, so maybe it's not going to be a target. I kind of thought there might be more rumors. There was some rumors back then when Glue Mobile got bought.
Yeah.
But I'm holding on to it just because, one, I don't think mobile gaming is going away, so I'm comfortable with the business. And the second big reason is that Michael Pachter gave it. He said, I love it with a capital L. And I'm like, nobody knows more about gaming than Michael Pachter. I blindly follow Michael Pachter. I will tell you right now, there's not a lot of people I blindly follow with my investment portfolio. When Michael Pachter, he hasn't led me astray. I bought Activision Blizzard back at $42 because, I think it was like 50, and it went down to 40, so I took some heat. But he says, I think this is a double within 2 years. It doubled a year and a half later. Yes, COVID helped it, but he's had some bad calls, Netflix short and stuff. But he does his homework, man.
Didn't he say that he loved King so much he was gonna quitting his job to put and then King got bought by Activision, or was it Blizzard?
I forget who bought them, but one of the big three I think bought them. But this was when he was on our show like 5 years ago. He came on our show and he said we were talking about King. Yeah. And he said, I love King so much, I want to drop coverage of it just so I can buy it, because he can't buy the stocks that he's covering. Yeah. Because there's conflict of interest there. He can't be talking his book up. So, that's for most analysts. They can't own the stocks they're actually covering. So he says, I want to drop coverage of this just so I can go buy the stock. He said that on our show, and that morning I went out there after 9:30 after it opened. I was like, you know what? He's that bullish this stock. I'll buy it. And it got bought out like 6 months later.
I'm pretty sure that was...
And he said with Zynga, I love it with a capital L. I'm sticking with it only because I think Michael Pachter knows a hell of a lot more than I do.
He's also
We
bullish.
love Michael
He's
Patrick.
also bullish GameStop, even though the price doesn't make sense. He likes GameStop. So
He put to an underweight on it though 2 days ago.
yeah, but he likes the company. Yeah, he hates the price, but likes the company. So it's this weird divergence.
He was on our show when it was like $4, saying he thought it was stupid. He was on our show saying that he thought there was some value here.
Yeah,
and he had the $27 price target on it. He never. Now he's also said in the recent note that 206 is beyond all reasonable. It's insane valuation metrics. But somebody asking me too, and I got to go right after this. Somebody asking me, my buddy Mike was asking me, can you talk about the GameStop move yesterday and why it had the big rally? I will tell you, GameStop is so disconnected from fundamental reality that the price can go anywhere. It is just price. It can do anything. It's nothing to do with the company anymore. Yep. It's been too long where it's been disconnected from reality. This thing could go to 1,000. It could. It could go to 0. It could. It is completely disconnected from reality, so it can go anywhere. This is the most dangerous thing to pair trade or to do anything with. When you have a company, a stock that is completely disconnected from reality, the price can go anywhere. It's completely being carried on story, completely being carried on momentum. So you can't say, oh, well, $200 is not worth it. It doesn't matter because you know what? This isn't even looking at valuation. That doesn't matter. And I don't know when it will matter one day, but right now it doesn't matter at all. So it sells off. There's just people that are saying, oh, it's eventually going back up. I'm going to buy it. I mean, AMC to a certain extent is the same thing right now. It's disconnected from reality. And, we have, Greenfield's put a 1 cent target on a fundamental basis, but it's not trading on fundamentals. It's trading on story. It's trading on momentum. Algos don't care about, and a lot of this is algorithmic action. They don't care about the fundamentals on this. They're carrying on momentum. They're trading on momentum. So those stocks there are storied stocks, disconnected from reality, disconnected from fundamentals. Price can go anywhere. AMC could go back to 20. It could. I don't know. Nobody knows where this is going to go. Nobody knows. Definitely on these stocks. And nobody knows where these are going to go.
And that's why when Markus was on, he
random walk theory.
Even though they were like, oh, there's some juicy premium here. No, with a capital N, right? Because there may be some premium on the options, but to Dennis's point, you don't know. This thing is a wild child. It is its own thing. It can do whatever it wants. It is not based in reality. And so even though it might seem like, oh, this kind of makes sense, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Nothing makes sense about this.
I would not want to be short GameStop. I would be very, very scared. I would not write options on GameStop for that same reason as that. I wouldn't sleep at night on this thing because the price can literally go anywhere. It can do anything. So, you think, okay, well, it's never going to $300. I mean, it can do anything. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter that the fundamentals don't justify the price. This whole market was carrying like that for a while. Now, on the market itself, fundamentals are starting to matter to a certain extent. But on GameStop, they don't matter at all right now. So you got to be very careful when you trade this kind of stuff. It's all just, whipsaw trading action. Spreads are a buck wide all the time. It's just pure gambling, really.
All right, Jason got held up on a call, so I don't think he can.
I got to go too,
which is sad. Dennis, good job today. We'll see you on Monday. Good luck in your trading. I want to remind everyone that today's show is sponsored by Rockwell Trading. Trade what you see, not what you think. To learn more, go to rockwelltrading.com/Benzinga. The link is down at the bottom of the screen right there. Once again, please hit that like button and subscribe. The subscribers help as well, right? Likes and subscribes help us a lot. We put all this content out for free for you. Show us some love via the like and subscribe button. And what else did I want to say here? I think podcast. This show, like all of our shows, is available in podcast form. If you're listening via podcast, please remember all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Catch our podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Google.